Am I the asshole? For not swapping custody weeks with my ex-husband? My ex-husband and I have been divorced for 11 months now, and the current arrangement for custody is 1 week on 1 week off with alternating holidays. Earlier this year, my ex-husband had a work trip out of town, so he asked me to watch our daughter that week. No problem. We agreed that I would keep her the 2 weeks, my week and then his week, and when he came back he would pick her up from me and we would rotate back like normal so that the schedule wouldn't have to shift. When he came back, he pitched a fit about wanting to keep her an extra week, not because he wanted to spend the time with her, but because the way the current schedule was laid out he couldn't go to a music festival to see his favorite band. I wanted to fight him on it because it didn't seem like a valid reason to fuck with our kids' schedule, but oh well. I just notated it and let it happen. So now we're up to the present. There's been a stomach bug going around. The child was sick and I was sick all last week, but we made it. She went to her dad's on Sunday and he ended up calling me on Tuesday asking me to keep her this week because he's really ill, even though the doctor said it's the cold and basically can't keep her. I agreed and am keeping her this week, handling her pickups and drop-offs at daycare and taking her to her activities. No big deal. The problem comes in where he's asked if I would be willing to let him keep her next week since he is missing this week. I told him absolutely not, because her schedule has already been swapped once. It wouldn't be fair to her to swap it again. He called me vindictive and said that I'm trying to keep her away from him because will basically be with me for a whole month because of this. I reminded him that he made the choice to send her to me because of a cold. The only reason why I'm sticking to my guns here is because when I've asked him to give me mild concessions such as this and they were only begrudgingly accepted, while also small rants of his schedule being disrupted gets tossed at me passive-aggressively. So AITA? I can see why you divorced him. Not the asshole, but stop allowing the schedule to change. Make it clear that if he needs you to take care of your daughter during his time, that's all it is, and he forfeits that time. You don't get to stop being a parent when you're sick. You don't get to stop being a parent when there's a vacation you want to take. You don't get to stop being a parent when life happens. He's parenting when it's convenient for him, and that's not how this works. Not the asshole. It sounds like he wants to see her when it's convenient and no other time. He's your ex for a reason. He tried to fuck around with the schedule, he found out he doesn't get more than one pass. Not the asshole. Nada. However, I'd start quietly consulting an attorney and talk about an adjustment in the visitation schedule to be made permanent and an equal adjustment in child support. He basically acts like you're still married and you should pick up his slack on a whim. Make that part stop. This is the agreed upon schedule. So manage and stop being messy. Everything isn't about you anymore. It's about her. Emergencies are one thing. But, you aren't having any emergency. You just plan poorly and want me to make things work for you. That's not my job anymore, okay? Please, just manage and stop giving me grief about non-issues. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. You've already done him a favor once. The child needs consistency. Don't keep swapping just to please your ex. I hope you're keeping a consistent log of how the schedule goes, including any changes you've asked for, what his response is, what changes he's asked for, and what your response is. We have it written in our custody agreement that any exceptions to the schedule do not impact normal custody days going forward. I will let him have extra time for trips, but that doesn't mean I get the days back, vice versa. The only time I make an exception is if the kids ask for extra time with him because they have been with me for 2-3 weeks because he traveled without them on his week. But that will be like a day early transfer, not a whole week. Not the asshole. He's messed you about so much and for the lamest of reasons. He's a dad, he should be giving 110% into this relationship with his daughter. Not the asshole. Making concessions for one another in order to have a productive life shouldn't be a problem if it works out for both you and your ex. changing your daughter's regular routine just because one or the other of you just wants to be with her should not be okay. Not the asshole. Seems like your ex has no real interest in parenting your daughter if there's something he wants to do or is slightly inconvenienced. He just wants it to be light and easy, and you not being willing to accommodate that in his mind makes you evil and vindictive. He wants to be a weekend dad with the credit of being a fully involved parent. Nata, maybe stop being as accommodating to him when he wants to insult you the one time you say no. He's an ex for a reason, but you need to stop taking this from him. Not the asshole. No good deed goes unpunished, hey? You have to draw the line somewhere up. Not the asshole. Seems like your ex has no real interest in parenting your daughter if there's something he wants to do or is slightly inconvenienced. He just wants it to be light and easy, and you not being willing to accommodate that in his mind makes you evil and vindictive. He wants to be a weekend dad with the credit of being a fully involved parent. Not the asshole, and stop agreeing to do shit for him. He's your ex. He can deal with his damn cold on his own, or hire a babysitter or call on a relative. Not the asshole. He's done all of this to himself. Not the asshole. Und Mau. Imagine not having to be a parent because you don't feel well. GTFO. You should never have picked up your daughter when she was sick with your ex. It might be news to him, but he is also a parent, and he needs to take care of his child when she is sick. You guys are both being a-holes. Get to a neutral place and have a conversation about the need to be accommodating for everyone's sake, especially your child's. You have years of this ahead of you. Trust me, it is so much better for your child to have a model of two adults treating each other with kindness, respect, and flexibility. Not the asshole. It's not your fault your ex isn't capable of watching his child when he has a cold. Sticking to your guns and shutting him down is actually probably going to be less effort for you than engaging all of his shit, because he's pretty clearly shown that it's not going to stop if you don't make it. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. Your ex is a whiny, selfish pain in the ass. It sounds like divorcing him was a good decision. Stop swapping the schedules going forward, FFS. Kids need stability and routine. ESH for swapping around for bullshit reasons. Out of town for work, okay sure, music festival no, sick, well parents get sick and kids get sick, and everyone with a kid has had to take care of a kid while sick, suck it up. Not the asshole. My work schedule changes from time to time and I'm not always able to see my son on the agreed to days. Sometimes my ex and I are able to work something out, but there are times when our son's schedule doesn't fit with my off time. That's just post-divorce life. Sex needs to grow up. Not the asshole. And we do not know the ins and outs of your relationship, but he seems like the kind of person to keep track of any extra time to take you to court at a later date. My cousin allowed her ex to move his time around often, and he did take her to court for more custody. ESH, as someone who was your daughter growing up, I didn't care in the slightest which weekend I spent with which parent or whether my schedule got swapped. All I cared about was my parents using my custody as an excuse to voice all their petty arguments with each other. I promise it is far more important that your daughter sees the two of you modeling cooperative, compassionate, flexible behavior in both directions than that she learns what a rigid bi-weekly routine means. You are both using your child like a pawn. Being assholes. Stop it. ESH, the two of you need to work together better than you are doing. Both of you are going to have things happen when accommodations are going to be necessary. Neither of you can expect the other to bend if you are not willing to do so yourself. Both are the assholes. Well, this depends, and only you can say, are you actually doing this because it's what is best for your child? Or is there still some animosity between you and your ex and you are responding to the behavior you think is wrong? Do things like this affect custody and parental rights if it goes to court?